What up, y'all? This is Knowledge Itself, aka KOS. I'm VECtore. This is NATO, and we have D.WIL today as well. So before we begin with this episode, this podcast is produced in part by Productive Culture. Productive Culture offers full service production, mixing, mastering, and podcast services. If you want to get your podcast going, visit productiveculture.com/podcast and tell them that KOS sent you and get your first episode recorded for free.
Free! Bars. Straight bars right there, bro. That was crazy.
Oh, you gonna rap right now or what?
You just rapped right there, bro.
It was pretty good. Good job.
Bro.
I'm proud of you, man.
Nice.
That was like 10 takes later, but he nailed it.
Hey, man, you know what? No one got. Why you got to throw under the buzz? No one needs to know about the 10 takes.
That's just who
Well,
I am.
I mean,
That's just
people
who I
that are
am.
tuning into the live version are witnessing it. So,
Oh man, they're witnessing everything
so
we've done wrong.
it's already out there.
Oh, and like for future podcasts, just for my sake, could you introduce me as the Mighty D.WIL? Because I think that sounds way better than just.
So it's the Mighty D.WIL now.
I like that. Yes.
Honestly, like before this episode was gonna come, I was gonna talk to you. It's like, all right, so are we gonna change some code names now or stage names? So, all right, so this is the Mighty D.WIL right now. So on that note, as far as like our topics today for this episode, we're gonna talk about the hip hop snob, which the Mighty D.WIL will lead on with that. Nato's gonna talk about goals as far as like New Year's resolutions goals and that nature. And then I will end by talking about motivation and drive and just how do you maintain motivation and drive just in as far as life, goals, jobs, whatever, etc.
How's the live stream looking?
So the live stream, it should be up. I got to enter the passcode. Let's see.
Are we looking good?
Hey, we got one person watching. I think it's us.
That's
awesome.
We're watching ourselves while doing our podcast. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can just
So
put it
it's
on.
good.
Just put the volume down,
Technology.
Yeah.
and then keep it rolling.
Yeah, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so on that, let's get started right now. So, hip hop snob. I know we were talking about topics as far as like potentials, and then while I was at work, I saw the massive group text response. So, go ahead and.
I was just thinking. It came up to me when I was just driving my car.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where I was going. I think I was going to the grocery store, and I was like, man, there's a lot of snobs up over here. Let's talk about hip hop snobs. But yeah, like I posted the question on Twitter, and just to see what people thought about it, and like from what I understand, I guess just to put it bluntly, I feel like everybody is guilty of being a hip hop snob.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah,
Definitely. But I think there's those people who take it to another level where it's like, oh, if you don't know this certain, hip hop artist from, the 1980s, or if you don't know this particular underground artist from this region, then you can't call yourself a hip hop head.
Right.
And I kind of want to pose a question to you two. So I want to see like what you guys think. I'm gonna throw a little curveball in it as well.
What is this, man? You just come on the show and just throw everything off, man.
Yeah, man, that's what I do. I disrupt. But what I want to know is, why does the hip hop snob exist? Do we need the hip hop snob to exist?
I like these questions.
And do we regard the hip hop snob as maybe a gatekeeper to the culture?
I like where you're going with this.
So I want to hear y'all opinions on this, and then I want to see if we can come to a consensus
I'm
on
gonna
the
let Vector
snob.
go first. Vector, you go first. I like you're already thinking a lot. Go ahead. Your hands are moving. Go.
Okay. Well, to pose the first answer, like, do we need a hip hop snob? I think it's a necessary evil to have the hip hop snob, because sometimes, whether it's a he or she, that person tends to remind us like where we have to research or just take a look, like, all right, like, whether it be like, oh, let me see, or like, all right, like, let's see about your shit. Let me see. Let me check this out. As far as like either we give into our ego or we just generally want to look for that particular lines. But also boils down to a fine line where, the hip hop snob just, is there just to belittle like either the YGs or just, people that are not familiar with the hip hop culture. And in that aspect is like, come on, dude. No, you don't need to go to that level. It's like, I can
Where do
see,
you draw the line though?
like when, like in terms of like belittle when like, they're really like just poking jabs, like where it takes it to another level where it's like, oh, you're not hip hop. Like where it tends to like, where that person's starting to make fun of you or just bully you. That's where I tend to draw the line. But if you're talking about like, hey, look for your stuff, look for your knowledge, then okay, cool. But if it gets to a point where it's like, hey, I'm better than you type of deal, then that's when it's gonna be like problematic.
I think.
Go ahead.
My bad. Oh no, I'm not. My bad. No, I'm just kidding. I feel going off what you said. I feel like there needs to be it. I like where you're going with this, because it's like you need to know the history of where you're coming from,
Right.
in order to excel and not repeat history and know who was here before you, to understand the linguistics of it all as to where hip hop, where it started to where it's at now. But I believe that I feel like this day and age, we're very sensitive. A lot of people are. So when
too sensitive in an
exactly. So when it comes to like the whole belittling idea, I think I'm a firm believer that at the end of the day, if you're a hip hop artist, a rapper, whatever, you should want to take people's heads off. But I'm a firm believer there's a proper way of doing it and a negative way of doing it. I think a positive way of doing the snob idea is to like, yo, like, this is what you're doing, but this is where we come from.
Right.
This is where you're going. And you're going left field, but then also you could be going right field. But I guess the borderline is when does it? I guess that's a good point because I don't know where the borderline is.
So I feel like you guys are talking more about the history of hip hop, which there are snobs in that, but I believe there's a vast more amount of different types of snobs, like the person who knows about a particular underground hip hop artist, who's only popping in his region and has no social media outlink and only does stuff within his community. If I don't know about him, I can't be a hip hop head.
I don't think that's wrong because you're not, first and foremost, you're not searching for it, and nothing's wrong with that. Because
but why, if he has no presence, why should I search for it? You know what I mean?
I see where you're going.
You know what I mean? It's like, how am I going to search for somebody I don't know about?
Is it that guy's fault that you don't know about him?
That is. If he wants to be, if I can't be somebody who's knowledgeable about a culture because I don't know about this particular person, how's that fair?
I see what you're saying. Damn, David. Damn, D.WIL. Where you going with this? Mighty D.WIL. Damn, get off the stage. Get off the microphone. Damn. I'm going to say this. I don't know what to say anymore. I agree with what you're saying because when I came into the scene, I really didn't know the community of hip hop. I didn't know how major the IE was until like I really became a part of it. So you got artists that like Stevie Crooks. A lot of people know who Stevie Crooks is, but not a lot of people at the same time don't know who Stevie Crooks is. Same thing with like Fredo, and same thing with Sosa. Like these are like even with Noah, we even Noah there too. We'll use these four artists as an example. A lot of the people I know that listen to mainstream hip hop, like they don't know their community within. Like even my baby brother doesn't know about the community of the IE, and I don't want to say that doesn't make you a hip hop head, nor should that make you classify you as a snob because people don't go in their inner city looking for music in a sense because they think the music's coming from the outwards and they don't think their city has a music scene when it does have a music scene. So I think that's where I'm going with that.
Okay, so let's jump on to the next question. Is the snob needed as a gatekeeper towards, specific, if it's regional, if it's just for the culture? Is it, like, should the snob exist to weed out those people who just want to abuse
There's
the
only
culture?
one LeBron James because LeBron James is LeBron James, right?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
So let me finish with this. It's like, so I think the gatekeeper needs to exist because then if the snob doesn't exist, everybody gets a pass. And I forgot who I was listening to Nick. I forgot his name. Nick Grant. I think that's his name. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He's from, I forgot what part of, I don't know where he's from actually, but he's a great hip hop artist. And he even said that all the gatekeepers gave you guys a pass. And he's referring to like the new genre of hip hop, the mumble rap. So if everybody from the OGs gave everybody else a pass or didn't give them the pass, didn't do the OG what the OG's supposed to do, like the gatekeeper, and just let everybody go through, now we got a floodgate of just a bunch of musicians and artists coming through. So the snob needs to exist as a sense of a gatekeeper where we're shutting things down and giving you the best substance. So I think in a sense, a gatekeeper is a good thing for a snob because rather than oversaturating the music scene, we're going to limit certain things just so we give the best quality that we can of hip hop versus whatever's watered down now. I guess that's a better way I guess that's a good way to put it. That's what I feel like I should say.
So like the snob should exist just to, like you guys were talking about earlier, is to like really drive the history and the culture of it. But once it starts to cross the line into belittling somebody who's developing, knowledge into here, then it kind of crosses lines.
Yeah, because like you start to have like that. I don't know if I'm using this word correctly. You start to feel inferior. Where it scares that potential person that's either interested in the cross culture or curious and wants to know more. It scares that person off, and where it's like, okay.
But isn't that what the whole idea is of being the best of the best? It's going through the adversity of someone saying you're not doing it right.
Oh yeah.
Going through like, I mean, I guess what I want to say is like, I like growing up listening to hip hop. Like I grew up listening to like obviously like the Game, 50 Cent when they fall out, the beef thing. Hip hop back then was different. Like right now we got Kanye and Drake. Kanye going off on Twitter, doing this, and then Drake doing this. I think the whole idea of beef, I think has. I don't know if
it changed.
Yeah,
I guess it's like it's super. It's 40-year-olds.
It's 40-year-olds going on Twitter doing this, and I don't think that doesn't look right at all.
I agree.
On many levels,
it's childish.
It is very childish. So I think that, and going back to that, the whole idea of the line, I think there is a certain line because there's a snob, like I said, the positive way and the negative way. If you know that an individual is not going about it the right way, be the OG or be the snob. Guide him. Don't belittle him, but guide him. And I think that's what's been going. I think that's the issue. We don't have like a lot of proper OGs guiding other artists through the proper way of doing certain things. But at the same time, the cool thing about it is you get a whole nother sound and genre of music.
Yeah. Like, I guess one of the main reasons why I brought this topics up, because you scroll through the IGs and you look at posts, you look at comments, and a lot of posts that I've gone through is like, oh, if you don't know this, random
that's bullshit.
80s rapper, you can't talk to me.
I don't know.
Like, why can't you talk to them? You know what I mean? It's like, why don't you let them know who it is?
That's the thing. Let them know who they are.
And then you get all the comments down there and be like, oh yeah, you're right. They don't know, Dr. Cool Mo D, Africa Bambaataa motherfucker. So you can't say shit about hip hop. And I'm like, that's kind of lame.
I don't know.
And some of those kids, they weren't born then.
I was shoot. I don't. That's why, like, certain, like, when it comes to history of hip hop, I'll be the first to admit I don't know the ins and outs.
That's because you were born in 2015.
I was born yesterday, bro.
Yeah, man.
I barely came out of my mom's womb, and somehow I grew 6'2". No, but I think that history is an important thing of understanding of where we come from as hip hop artists and fans of hip hop. But like everything else, it does develop and mold into something new, different, whatever that was. I think it was a cat or something. At the end of the day, I think probably. I think you need there. It's like guidelines to certain things. It's like, I mean, then again, like certain criteria to be a president, but yet some of those people don't fit the criteria, but still president.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a thing like that. Especially now day and age, it's like it's going back to that because everything used to have a guideline. It's like going back to participation awards with youth athletes. I don't think participation awards are needed. They're
Those
not.
are lame.
They're lame.
No, they're
so
not.
it's going back to the whole idea of a gatekeeper. We could refer to that because now it's like, hey, you're not too good, but you're gonna go because you have clout or you have some type of movement. Go ahead. Right. But back in the day, it's like if you weren't the ins and out of it, I mean, I'm pretty sure the OGs didn't let you go with it because look at back. I mean, I wasn't around the 80s, but how many other artists could have made it, but due to the people who were before them didn't give them that pass to say, no, like you need to go do something else or do something better, you know? So it's different.
Like you're not good enough because
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
X, Y, and Z. Now it's like you're still not good enough for X, Y, and Z. Now I think with social media, it's changed everything because everybody's going to have an opinion. But I just think how you handle your opinion, how you handle others' opinion as a young artist shows your skin. Like, can you develop thick skin? Because at the end of the day, you're going to get some people to say certain things. And if it's somebody saying, hey, you're not a fan of hip hop because you don't know who was popping in the 90s or how everything was in the 80s or the dance or the graffiti, you're not going to be a hip hop artist. I think I want to say it's lame, but at the same time, I do understanding your history.
Okay, I get you. I say,
It's to me like, I mean, going back into those comments, like I would say it's like every time when I read those comments and they just ended off that, like I do agree it's a lame thing.
How
It's
old are
like-
these guys that are saying things first?
I mean, they're
probably
around our age.
Yeah,
you know
our
what I mean?
age.
Like
Well, what's
between
some-
25,
but the
38,
problem-
you know what I mean? Speaking of like the people that you say are older and, you know, I think they're more afraid to evolve. With sound.
Yeah.
You can't teach your old dog new tricks, homie.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, also
First
disagree.
off, I just think it's more of a fear of, you know, because think about it. If you lived with the culture for, you know, 40 years and you
what
see
you
something
went
changing so drastically, that's going
It's
to scare you.
drastically
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of them are scared because just the way how hip hop is being handled and just misinterpreted a lot too. Like, I mean, some of them are just afraid that it's going to be, you know, possibly taken away like rock and roll did.
Justin, lift up your microphone.
And I think that's why a lot of them are like afraid, but it doesn't justify their behavior or
that
or
fear-
reason.
That's how cowards handle life.
But I think sometimes that fear is what creates that snobbery because they feel
Yeah.
like they have an upper hand on you because it's like, oh, I know about this, the origins of the culture, so that makes me somewhat better than you.
Hip hop's
Exactly.
it's a young man's game, apparently,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's
exactly,
always going to be a
exactly.
young man's game. Yeah,
I think it's like, I don't know. I feel maybe when I get older, I'll have a different perspective on this. But what I love about like Noah and like Stevie and all them, Stevie's, I think we're the same age, but I view him as like an OG in the music scene because he's technically speaking my OG. They'd always give advice. Those type of individuals always give advice. And what I think maybe someone who's a snob, maybe their career or their life didn't go according to their will.
right.
And they have that resentment of, damn.
Right.
Yeah. You know what they say though? If you can't do, teach, right? So
They can't teach.
I
So what are they doing?
don't know. They being snobs.
Being snobs and they're being angry about it. And
Don't be
they're
a
not,
snob, be a teacher.
Exactly. And they're also not realizing that, you know, they're hurting that specific individual too.
Are they
They're hurting
doing
a generation, not just a.
Oh,
not a-
yeah, I agree.
now? Are they yes or no answer? Are they doing justice for the culture or not?
No,
No,
not in that
not
sense.
in that aspect.
Yeah.
In fact, they're just harming the culture. They're making a lot of. They're going off what David said, or the Mighty D.WIL said was. I might have to edit that out.
Nah, leave it. Leave
No, you
it.
gotta take my name out though. You can't, yeah, or bleep it. Bleep. Yeah,
Yes,
I like
bleep
that.
So losing my train of thought here.
As the Mighty
They're
D.WIL.
holding.
Choo choo.
They're hurting the generation and making that specific generation like more not angry. Man, what's this?
I think if angry and frustrated and lack of communication could be a better word. Because I get what you're saying. Because like me working with kids, I love being young enough to like communicate with them, but old enough at the same time to communicate with everybody else, like the older people. Because we got a bunch of young kids who cannot like really communicate with a lot of older kids. It's just the lingo. The lingo these days is different.
Oh,
yeah,
It's different lingo.
Yeah.
So now we got all these.
I don't know if things is fire or lit anymore, so I gotta just.
There's probably gonna be a new word within like the next 5 months.
embers.
Fuego.
Fuego's already been used.
Has it?
Yeah, I think that's like early too. I'm gonna put my cast in for embers. So if that pops off, y'all know where it started. Yeah,
D.WIL, the mighty D.WIL.
thank you.
At the end of the day, I think some people, snobs, whoever, everybody's gonna have an opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but the person who's receiving the opinion, I think, is the most important. How you respond or how you don't respond, more importantly, is the most important thing about you as a young individual who is trying to create your own path in the hip hop world or just music in general. So take that as it is.
Hey, I think we should just leave it at that on there.
Oh shit!
So let's go on and jump on to that. Oh wait, no. Who's the sponsor and production of KOS again?
Productive culture.
No, you gotta.
I gotta read that
You just
again.
read it again?
Yeah.
I gotta read it again.
Yeah, man.
Read
Really?
it again. Yeah, do it again.
It's like an ad break, bro.
Oh wow, an ad break.
We do need an ad break.
Let's see. All right. So, of course, to reiterate, this podcast is produced in part by Productive Culture. Productive Culture offers full service production, mixing, mastering, and podcast services. So, again, if you want to get your podcast going, visit
Get that
productiveculture.com
podcast in.
/podcast and tell them KOS sent you and get your first episode recorded for free.
KOS sent you. Remember that.
Yeah, these guys.
Remember, Productive Culture.
Bro, you do that really well.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he just wanted to hear it again.
Yeah, like
That's probably why he
bars.
did it.
Really.
Damn.
Wow.
You ever thought about a rap career?
You know?
No.
Oh.
You ever thought about reading
Voiceovers?
audiobooks?
Honestly, I
Bro,
can see you doing that.
I listened to an audiobook that you read.
I'll be like, oh crap, who's this guy?
Like what? And he makes the animal noises too? Oh my
I
god.
don't know if that's in the van.
All right, on to next subject.